Let's dive into how to properly brand yourself as a real estate agent. Creating a personal brand is one of the most important things that you can do in order to identify yourself uniquely and make yourself stand out amongst the competition in order to stay and remain top of mind in your local market center. And what I want to do today is break down the 5 things you need to do in order to properly brand yourself and talk about the first thing, which is actually a big misconception of what most agents think branding is, and it's really not. So without further ado, let's show you what you can do in order to brand yourself properly as an agent. If you don't know who I am, my name is Mike Sherrard. I'm with eXp Realty. I train thousands of agents every single year to scale their business the modern way with social media. And I also happen to own a personal branding agency called High Converting Content. Now, I'm not pushing people to use that, but if you do want to know more information, you'll probably see a couple images and examples of the branding that we've done for hundreds of agents in the last couple of years. And if you do want to know more information, just drop a comment below. But either which way, the first thing that I want to dive into is what branding is not. And this is where a lot of people go wrong from the jump, is they don't even understand what proper branding actually is. And what I mean by that is a lot of people think that your branding is your logo, it's a color, or it's a font. And it's neither of those. Those are vehicles to communicate your brand, but those are not what your personal brand actually is. Additionally, your personal brand is not your brokerage brand. Your brokerage brand, sorry if this offends people or rubs people the wrong way if you're patriotic to your brokerage, but it doesn't matter what brokerage you're with. Your brokerage brand does not matter whatsoever. And I've done, I've proven that myself. I've been at Remax, I've been at, eXp Realty, I've been at the boutique brokerage, and I've never had anybody work with me because of which brokerage I'm with. And I don't know a single agent that's ever been chosen because of the brokerage that they're with. So let's remove that out of the way. And also, your personal brand is not static. And I'm hoping this gives you some hope as we go through the next 4 steps. It is dynamic in nature. It is meant to evolve. So if you get started with your personal brand today, as you should, you don't have to nail it the first time perfectly and think that this is going to be your brand for the rest of your career. It will grow, it will evolve, but it's important to at least get started. So number 2 is where we're going to get started with your personal brand, which is identifying your messaging and your unique value proposition. So what I mean by this is, let's look at how you can make yourself unique, right? For me, I did a couple of different things. So with the color that I chose, I did choose a color based on color psychology. When you look at purple, and everybody, has seen my purple Lamborghini and purple everything, with purple, it represents luxury, royalty, and ambition, which is the quality of service and how I want to be recognized with my brand. But you'll also notice that my passion is cars. So I always incorporated cars into my brand. Every car that I've had has been wrapped purple. And then you go a step further, and I'm going to loop this all around so it makes sense to you. You go a step further and say, what is your unique value proposition? If a seller or buyer said, why should I work with you versus the number 1 agent in your city? You need to have an answer for that. And that's going to be your unique value proposition or unique selling proposition, so that you can identify and explain to people very clear and concisely why they should work with you versus other people. And you cannot just say because you love helping and working with people, because every agent says that. You need something that clearly defines and separates the gap between you and anybody else. So to give you an example of what I did, you look at real estate and blank is the best at blank. Right? That's the sentence we're going to fill in, and that's going to give you a pretty clear example of how you can start with your personal brand. So for me, I was real estate and cars, who was the best at social media marketing for real estate in my city. Right? Because when I was focusing on production, where I was a top producer for multiple years, I was really heavy in showing sellers that in my market, which is one of the slowest markets in North America, that I was able to get their home in front of more people with leveraging creative and innovative strategies, video marketing, and all of the different ads that I was doing. And I was showing the analytics, and I was proving to people that, hey, this agent might have more budget, but I can get your home in front of more people and get more exposure. Which one do you care about? Right? So by identifying you are real estate and blank. That blank is going to be a passion, a hobby, a unique visual cue, a style cue, something. Who is the best at blank? Your unique value proposition. And that's going to be a great way to at least get started with your messaging, so you can clearly again explain what makes you different than other agents. Number 3 is, once you have that messaging, starting to translate that messaging through all physical, social, and digital mediums. So making sure that again, there's hyper consistency across the board, so that when you create your personal brand, it is consistent across all platforms, whether it be your banners that are resized from YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, whether it be your brochures that look similar to your banners, all of your different elements from your business cards to your website, to your social media posts and the templates you make. Everything should be consistent, because that's going to, again, go back to the consistency of your brand messaging. So if people look you up on one platform, they don't see something drastically different or of a lesser quality on a different platform. They see that you're consistent, you're dialed, which means that you're organized, and people really like that because they can tell that you're serious about your brand. Now, number 4 is kind of piggybacking on that, which is being consistent, not just in terms of the frequency, but quality, right? So being consistent with what you're telling people, being consistent with the quality of your brand across all these mediums, whether it be physical, digital, or social, but also being hyper consistent with getting your message out there. And that comes in the form of posting on platforms. If you haven't watched my video about the social media trends that you need to be aware of in 2022, drop a comment and I'll send it to you. But number 1 is video and number 2 is short form. So making sure that you are consistent with getting your message out there in terms of what makes you unique, so that you can build your personal brand and leverage things like short form that have the most organic engagement and reach, which is going to allow you, if you're just getting started with your brand, to get in front of more people than you otherwise would have. So start to leverage these trends, be consistent with posting, and that all boils down to, again, having a predictable content calendar that you've actually built out and committing to it, because content is king, but consistency is queen. And number 5, last but not least, is showing versus telling. Showing is way more important than telling, and unfortunately a lot of people tell, and a lot of realtors just focus on telling and not actually showing. What I mean by that is, again, people saying that they go above and beyond for their clients and they do everything they can to get their clients' homes sold. Well, 86% of home sellers say they would rather work with a realtor that uses video in order to sell a property than one that doesn't. So if you're not leveraging video to sell that property, like creating YouTube videos for your properties, then you're not doing everything that you could for your clients. And if you want to get more listings in 2022 or any year that you're watching this, one of the best things to understand is that your YouTube channel, your content, your social media is a live running case study demonstration of your portfolio of work. So the reason why the agents that get so many listings have great listing videos is because great listing videos attract listings, because sellers see, wow, that's how they market all their properties. I want my property to be marketed that way too. So if you want to generate more clients, start to show people what you do above and beyond, and that's going to naturally attract more people that want that level of service for themselves as well. So those are 5 things that you can do in order to get started with your personal brand, all things that are very easy in order to get started. I didn't want to go too detailed in this video because I'll have more coming on a later date on this topic. But if you have any other questions, just hit me up, drop a comment below, and let me know what your biggest takeaway was. So thanks so much for tuning in. As always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.